Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Steven from Shock Extreme Productions, and I have another movie review for you guys today. And this, once again, is going to be for Brain Damage Films. As I continue to do my reviews on the Traces of Death films, I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today Traces of Death Part 2. I promise to have these videos at least once a week for these reviews, but most of the time I'm just too busy, don't get around to watching it. And the other part is that these films are sometimes a little bit hard to watch, so it just depends on the timing. They're just really weird and morbid films overall, so just timing and my free time and all. But I finally got to watch, or rewatch actually, Traces of Death 2. And the thing with these reviews is, you could say if you own these sets, I have them, they're awful, but did you actually see them? With me, I'm actually sitting down, sort of taking notes in my head of what's going on in certain scenes, and I really just want to get a sturdy review for you guys instead of saying, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, really disturbing, don't recommend it. I just want to, pretty much pitch everything to you guys, and that's why it takes a little bit more time to actually go through these. But, so today we're going to be doing Traces of Death number 2. This movie has a tagline of, "It just got deader." If you remember, Traces of Death Part 1 said, "It doesn't get any deader than this." Well, apparently it just got deader. On the back it says, "Bigger, better, deader." Just once again, your grisly host from beyond. Join us once again, your grisly hosts from beyond, as you journey into the most unbelievable realms of death and destruction. Watch as the screen drips red as a monster truck show where a giant robot transformer act goes horribly wrong. See firsthand close-up exploding limbs, splayed cadavers, devastating car wrecks, and much, much more. Turn down the lights, flame a candle, and prepare yourself. It just got deader. So, like I said in my other review, there is no plot to these movies. Sometimes you get the, brain damage, aka Darren Ramage, saying in some scenes what's going on exactly. Most of the time it just shows the footage. There aren't really many pictures in this film. The first one had a bunch of pictures, whether it be from suicides or car accidents. This one really didn't show many pictures. It had more actual footage. This one did have, though, a lot more suicides in it. They had a lot more people jumping off buildings. If there's a fire in a building, they showed people jumping off the building, falling onto the ground. So definitely a lot more suicides. Let's see what else. There's a lot more accidents, too. Not just car accidents, but they have motorcycle accidents. Even plane accidents. You see some planes crash in the woods or into a field, or even at an air show even. You just see a lot of plane crashes. You see a lot of race car accidents. What is it called? I guess motocross accidents. So if you're a person that's into that type of stuff, then Traces of Death 2 is probably the way to go. Like I said in my first review of Traces of Death 1, there is a sex change in it where pretty much a male turns into a female. Well, in this one it's reversed. This time the female gets turned into a male. We'll just go on to the next part. Aren't as many surgeries though in this one. I think there is a liposuction scene as well, but it's done really old school. Instead of using a pump, they actually just scrape the fat off the person. But there's a lot more executions as well in this movie. You see a person being hung, you see people being tied to trees, I believe, and being shot to death. So a lot more executions by far. I'm just trying to think of some scenes that come to mind. There's this one really morbid scene where I believe it's a guy being punished, I believe, in some foreign country. The order for punishment pretty much is getting your penis cut off. There's a guy who is committed some crime, and the charges for that crime is apparently to get your penis cut off. There's another scene, I think, where some guy gets his penis cut off somewhere, and you just see blood flowing. It was really stomach-churning, if you ask me. But that's pretty much it. Those were the main scenes that stuck to mind. There were some other scenes like cult rituals, human sacrifice in a few of them. But it was mainly just, the mid section of the movie was mainly just a bunch of car accidents, motocross accidents, plane accidents. But let's go to the special features on this DVD. You get, of course, the full scale presentation of Traces of Death 2. You get bonus footage, which I think the one scene was a tsunami, if anything. And then there were a couple more pictures of the aftermath of some suicide victims. You see part of their face gone. You see blood against the wall. I think you see a gun in one guy's hand. So that was pretty much it. The bonus footage on this is very short. The scene selection, of course, and you get another interview with Darren Ramage, also known as Brain Damage. In this one, he pretty much talks about how Traces of Death is far different from any of the other Death movies, and he also talks about how certain scenes were actually cut out of the original Traces of Death, mainly because of sexual content. He talks about one scene where a guy who's really into S&M, if you guys don't know what S&M means, that is sadistic and I just forget it. So S&M, I just looked it up and I just forget it. Where this person was tied and, arms up, feet barely touching the ground, has a gag in his mouth, and a mistress comes in and pretty much just starts piercing his penis pretty much with surgical needles over and over again, over 10 times. And the mistress then brings in some sort of step stool, and she gets like pretty much roofing nails, and jams the nails into this guy's nutsack, and over and over again, and the guy has to pretty much lift them up, and you see the pain in his eyes. That's what Darren Ramage says. And there's also another scene where this really morbid guy just makes the skeleton's head like blow him pretty much, and pretty much like what happens in Splatter Farm, where the guy's jerking himself off with somebody else's arm. In this case, it's a skeleton arm. From what I've heard, hopefully very fake. But that's about it. The music in this, as opposed to the first one where it was low-budget public domain synth music, this one actually uses music from heavy metal bands. The music is by Unleashed, Morgoth, Grave, and Asphinx. From what I've read online, they said that the music involved in 2, 3, and 4, and 5 were mainly used to give the movie a more satanic and dark feeling to it. Maybe that's right, but from what I've heard from Darren, it was used because some people apparently would turn down the volume on it and just play heavy metal music, so you got the idea. If people really like that, then maybe we should include heavy metal in it. I don't know why, but he said it also gives it sort of an MTV feeling to it, where it's a lot of rock music mixed in with, fast clips of death. I don't know, but like always, I am not going to rate this, mainly because it's a death movie, and it's just, I don't know how I'm going to rate this, but, so that's really all I got to say about Traces of Death. Traces of Death Part 2, at least. I don't know why I'm stuttering. But, if you really want to check these out, the DVD went back up in price to about $90. The VHS is still about $25. But I'm sure you can find these online. But, if you really want to support Brain Damage Films, then go straight to the website or buy them on Amazon, eBay, whatever. But there is Traces of Death number 2. So, hope you guys all enjoyed. Stay tuned soon for my new review of Traces of Death Part 3. I'm going to be having a couple more videos coming out soon. If you like, definitely subscribe, like this video. Once again, my name is Steven from Shock Extreme Productions, and until next time, see you guys later.